Hi everyone, my name is Lisa and welcome to my YouTube channel, the channel where I focus on personal growth and development and spirituality. And in today's video, we are going to talk about goals. How do we not just set our goals, but how do we actually achieve those goals? How do we go towards those goals? At the beginning of this year of 2024, I had a video which I published and uploaded to this YouTube channel where I talked about setting your goals for the whole year for 2024. How do we set our intention? How do we set and pick the focus? I would highly encourage you to watch this video before you proceed watching this one, because there's a lot of important information, lots of foundation in terms of goals setting at that previous video. So just click it up there, go watch it, and then come back here so we can continue talking about goals. So what do we need with the goals? It's not always enough just to set the goal and we set it and we just like closed our notebook, that's done. My goal is gonna achieve itself by itself, right? So that's not enough. What we also need, we need a certain plan, we need actually execution, and we need actions, and we need to make sure that we have determination and discipline and organization skills in order to achieve what we want to achieve in our life. I always say if we keep on going somewhere, we keep on being active, we keep on doing the things, but if we don't know where we're going, we don't know what is our goal, we're going to get nowhere. That's why it's important to have a certain goal in front of you so you see the reason. So what is the final destination? I'm in my point A right now, I want to get to point B. And in order to understand what are we doing in between, you still need this final destination. Once we identify this final destination, then we can start breaking it down into clusters. What happens in many cases, why people don't achieve the goals? Let's pause a little bit here. The first idea is people lack of clarity. People lack of understanding, how am I supposed to get here? Like, yeah, I have this goal. Let's say I have a goal to write a book, and I'm not doing anything, I'm not making any steps, I'm not making any actions, taking any actions towards this goal because I just don't know how. I'm lacking of clarity and I'm lacking of plan. So the most important problem I've been experiencing, and I've been seeing it in my clients as well, is that just people don't know what to do. They have a goal, but they're not identifying and breaking it down into the steps. We will talk about it later. Don't worry, we will talk about how do we actually achieve what we want. But I want to pause here in two important factors when it comes to goals. So that's the first problem, and the majority of people, they experience that. And another problem, or in general, another note, an important thing I want to say when it comes to goals is that some goals, they become irrelevant. Some goals, they are not just something that we need right now in our life. I experience that a lot in my life. Every single year, I would just like, okay, I would set up the goals for the whole year. And then by the end of the year, I will look at those goals like, I haven't achieved like 50% of them. But not because I was lazy or not because I didn't take any actions, but because they became irrelevant. For example, I had my own business, I had a language school. And at the beginning of the year, I remember I set so many goals related to the growth of the school, working with partners, working on new products, working on developing a new website, on a new market. There were a lot of goals related to that business. And in February of that year, I decided to pause that business and I decided to exit that business. So all the goals, like 50% of my goals for that year, were related to that business, were related to that language school. And so just half of them became irrelevant because I'm no longer doing that project. I'm no longer part of that business. And at the end of that year, when I was reflecting on my goals, I was like, yeah, technically I haven't done anything if I look at my list, but no, just like those goals became irrelevant and those things became irrelevant because my path has changed. My direction changed. What I want to do, what I want to achieve, it changed. So be ready to adapt, and that's okay if you're going to change. Life is unpredictable and we have to learn how to adjust and be more flexible when it comes to our goals. So this is like two important disclaimers I wanted to say before we proceed, before we actually go get into the idea, how do we set up the goals and we actually achieve them. But this was an important thing which I wanted to pay attention to and talk about. So the step number one, we need to define that goal. So what is our actual final destination, the point B? What do we want to get? Where do we want to get? And maybe it can be like losing the weight, or maybe looking better, getting in good shape. Maybe it can be related to a career, securing a job, getting a promotion, or earning like 50K a month. And then we have to specify it even more. Okay, if I lose a weight, how many pounds do I want to lose? How many kilos do I want to lose? Okay, I want to lose 20 pounds. Then we are breaking down even more. By what date, by what time am I going to achieve that? Okay, so we want to narrow it down and specify it as much as possible. Like, let's say, for example, I want to save $10,000 by the end of the summer, right? So we are trying to be as specific as possible. What kind of tools can we use that can help us to define our goals and make it more specific? If you're struggling with that, maybe you're familiar with the idea of the model of the SMART model. It's been around for years. And what is it? The SMART model helps actually to identify the goal and make it very specific. What is every letter stands for? In SMART model, first S is specific. We want to make our goals as specific as possible. M stands for measurable. So we want to know how are we going to measure our goal. So make sure that your goal and your progress can be measurable. So how can I make sure that I'm on track, how I'm off track, how I'm going to measure it? So let's say if I want to lose 20 pounds by fall, how I'm going to measure it. So every month I will see, like, I will weigh myself, I will do the measurements, and there is a numeric value how I can measure that I'm going towards this goal. Am I on the right track, or something needs to be adjusted, right? So then we have letter A. A is achievable. So we want to make sure that we can achieve this goal. We can achieve this goal within the certain timeline that we are giving it for ourselves, that we can attain this goal. Next, we move to letter R. R stands for relevant, or sometimes we also call it being realistic or relevant, depending what you prefer. So the goal needs to align with your values, with the long-term objectives. You need to make sure that your goal is relevant to you. So why are you trying to achieve this goal? Let's say if you want to lose 20 pounds, I keep on bringing this example because it's pretty straightforward. I want to lose 20 pounds by the end of the year. Why is it relevant to me? Because I want to be healthy. I want to be more active. I want to go out more. I want to spend more time outdoors with my kids. So we want to make sure that it is relevant to you, not somebody else, that this goal, you didn't take it from somebody, but it is your goal only, and that you are actually working towards achieving this goal. And the last letter is letter T. It's related to time, that the goal, it is time-based, that we have a certain deadline. Like, let's say, getting back to the example of losing the weight, as I said before, like, okay, by the end of the summer, in 3 months, or if we want to save money, like by what date, by what time, by the end of the year, by the end of the fall, or by fall. So we want to have this time aspect, like, again, going back to my example of going somewhere to the final destination, to point B, there is an arrival time, right? If you take a plane, if you go on a flight, if you take a train, or whatever it is, you're driving somewhere, there is an arrival time. So what is the arrival time of your goal? By what date and time? By what, I don't know, quarter or something like that, whatever works for you. You are going to achieve this goal, and you are going to work towards this goal. What is the timeline? Are you giving yourself several months, or are you giving yourself a full 1 year? But we want to have this time aspect being included in your goals. So again, you can use a SMART model to define your goal. It's a great tool, making sure that your goal, it is relevant to you, because in many cases, sometimes we realize that this is not my goal. This is not what I want. Maybe it's my family who wants it, my partner who wants it. I saw it somewhere online and I decided that I need that goal. So having the SMART model and an understanding and using every single letter to define your goal can actually help you to see, like, is this relevant to you? Can you measure it? Can you achieve it? What is the time? Are you trying to be specific, right? With every single letter when it comes to your goal. So use it. It's your extra tools that can help you with the first step. We are only in the first step to define your goal, but it is the most important step, because the more specific we are, it's going to be easier for us to go and achieve this goal. Next step is when we start breaking things down. So we have our goal, we know what we are looking forward and where we are going towards. Now let's break it down. By breaking down, remember at the first, my disclaimer stages, I was saying that the majority of problems happen that people feeling overwhelmed and they are not starting to work towards this goal because they just don't know where to start. So that's why we can start breaking it down. Okay, so if I have 3 months to lose the weight, so what about 1 month? What's going to be my deliverable for 1 month? Okay, I want to lose 20 pounds in 3 months, so 20 divided by 3, so it's roughly 7 pounds every month. So every month I need to work on losing 7 pounds and 7 pounds and 7 pounds. I'm just bringing it up as an example, right? So we want to make sure that we break it down into clusters. We break it down by months, then from months we can break it down by week, and by week we can break it down by day. That's how I work with all my goals. For example, right now I have my 2024 goals based on different spheres of my life. And what I do when the new month comes, for example, right now it's the month of April, at the end of the previous month, at the end of March, I would sit down, I would reflect how the previous months went. Did I achieve the goals from the previous month or not? And then I would plan and I would set up the goals for the month of April first, taking whatever I did not achieve in March and looking why I did not achieve it. Is it relevant or not? And then looking at the whole year. So if I have my yearly goals, how am I doing? The first quarter just ended, right? So I will look at my year and I will write my monthly goals based on the year. Then every Sunday, I would write my weekly goals based on my months. Then my daily goals would be based on the week. So you see, it's kind of like we are breaking it down with a huge chunk of the year, then to months, then to week, then to day, right? So what steps, what things you need to do every single day in order to get to your goal. So let's say every month I need to work out. Okay, how many times per week do I need to work out? I need maybe to focus on my diet. Maybe I need to book a session with a nutritionist to come up with a meal plan. So we are trying to break down all these goals, all the extra things that we need to do that are going to help us to achieve this goal. If I want to write a book, so what am I going to do? Let's start breaking it down first, because it's hard to say, like, I don't know how I'm going to write a book because it's not one single step. There are so many other steps and so many other things you gotta do in order to get to your final destination. So that's why if we, for example, take an example of writing a book, okay, first, maybe I need to, in general, take some scripting or writing classes. I have no idea how to do that and I'm not good at this. Then if I write a book, if I want to launch my book, I need to work on my PR, maybe on media presence, because how I'm going to advertise it and sell it if I don't have it right now. So we focus on this. So if I need my media presence, what do I need to do for that? I cannot just go and do it myself. Maybe I need to hire a person. Maybe I need to take my social media seriously. Okay, we're breaking it down even more. So if I need to take my social media seriously, what do I need to do? I need to record and film content. I need to start my YouTube channel. You know, I need to post 2 videos monthly, meaning that bi-weekly I have 1 video for 2 weeks, right? Per 2 weeks. Then I need to post and create my content for Instagram. How many videos? How many reels? So we are trying to break it down. You see how I'm breaking it down more and more and more? So you can finally see all those little steps you need to take in order to get to your goal. You can see how even like creating a content, how it's going to contribute to your long-term goal, how it's going to contribute to where you want to get. Going back to the example of losing the weight, right? Same idea. Working out. Okay, if I'm not working out right now at all, but I need to sign up myself for the gym, I need to find maybe a personal trainer, I need to look into nutrition things, maybe I need to change my meal plan. Okay, if I change my meal plan, I'm going to do it myself or not. Maybe I need to consult with a doctor first before actually changing the meal plan and going to the gym. Okay, let's do the lab test, let's do this. Write it all down. It's going to help you a lot, and you will finally start having this clarity in terms of like, what am I doing and how I'm going to get there. I've experienced that myself. I have some goals like in life, but sometimes I just have no idea how I'm going to get there. until I sit down and write everything down, until I start breaking it down, then I have a clear vision. Then I have a clear steps, I have a clear plan what I'm going to do next and how I can get closer to that goal every single day. So, and every day we can do a certain action that is going to help us to get to that end goal, okay? So that's why the step number 3, I already touched based on this, is creating a plan. We create a plan for all of those small tasks, all of those small steps we just broke down in the step 2. We create a plan. How are we going to execute it? What is the plan? If I need to put 3 workouts a week, so what is the plan? What dates those workouts are going to be at? Or we can set up certain deadlines, small deliverables for ourselves per week. If I want to like, I don't know, I want to get 100,000 subscribers on YouTube by the end of the summer. I'm at 3K right now, right? So what am I supposed to do in order to get to 100K? First, I break it down into how many pieces of content I need to produce. Then I plan things out. I plan the videos. I plan the content. I plan my filming days. I plan my editing days. I plan if I need actually help with editing, with the thumbnails, with writing scripts. Maybe every Wednesday I'm going to film the video, then I'm going to edit it on the weekend. So the following week on Monday, that's when I upload the video. So you need to create a plan. How whatever you just wrote down, how whatever all these little small steps you just wrote down, how are you going to achieve that? How are you going to work towards all of those things, and how are you going to implement that into your schedule, into your daily and weekly routine? So step number 4 is about motivation. So we have to stay motivated, we have to stay disciplined, and we have to understand, why are we doing all of this? Why right now I'm spending so much time to breaking things down and writing down the plan? Why am I supposed to do that if I'm lacking the reasoning and motivation towards doing that? Remember in the first step, I was telling you, when we talk about the SMART model, we have the point when it comes to being relevant. Why are you doing? How is it relevant to you? And so the same idea with the step number 4, I want you to understand what is your motivation in doing that. We have different types of motivation. We have extrinsic motivation and we have intrinsic motivation. When it comes to extrinsic motivation, when it comes to the outside motivation, like let's say I want to get 100,000 subscribers. That's the outside motivation. I want to do that. I want to become more famous. I want to get all those followers. I want the people to watch my videos, and that's what's going to keep me motivated. The more content I produce, the more views I get, the more subscribers I get. But what's about your inside motivation? Why are you doing that? If we don't have all of these outside factors, if we avoid all of those outside factors, we just close them and say like we don't have them, what's going to keep you pushing? What's going to help you to keep pushing? What's going to help you to keep doing things and being disciplined and being organized, and maybe waking up early in the mornings, and maybe sacrificing spending nights and dinners with your friends and family? What is that? What is your inner motivation? Why do you do that? And I always say, like, try to come up with that at the beginning of any project, at the beginning when you're setting up your goals. And I can bring my personal example, even with this YouTube channel. When I started back in 2021, I was filming my tarot forecasts. If you scroll back, you will see the difference between 2021, me recording those tarot forecasts, and maybe like last year forecasts. I started it and I had this inner motivation. Even maybe I was not getting a lot of views, people were not subscribing, nobody was commenting. And if my motivation would be all of these outside factors, like getting the views and getting the subscribers and getting the likes, I would probably stop already back in 2021. But the whole idea why I was motivated to film it every single week and do this weekly forecasts for you, because first I was like, I'm going to practice my English. Second, I'm going to practice and memorize those cards and meanings of the tarot cards in English, because I learned everything in my native language, in Russian. And that was a huge struggle for me to learn how to explain this to people in English. Then the third point is, how do I talk to people? How do I feel myself in front of the camera? Focusing on my communication skills, focus on my presenting skills. So, and if you go watch, as I told you before, you will find a huge difference between me now and me like 3 years later, how I explain things and explain material, even how I talk here right now in this video. But that was my inner motivation, why every single Saturday I was committed that I'm not doing it. Even if nobody is watching, I'm doing it for myself as well. I'm staying motivated that I'm doing that to get better, and then to get better in many other skills, and to learn a lot in this journey as well. So focus and try to come up what is it for you from like your inner motivation. Why are you doing that? And as I said, when we're talking about the goal being relevant, I brought up the example of why do I want to lose weight? Because my inner motivation that I'm just bringing up the examples. I want to be active with my kids right now because I have some extra weight. It is hard for me to keep up with them. It's hard for me to do some activities with them. I want to be active. I want to be healthy. I want to go hiking with them. I want to do so many sports with them, and I cannot do any of that. But I want to be more present and I want to spend more time with them. My inner motivation could be that I'm struggling with the health, and like losing the weight is going to help to avoid problems, health related problems, and that's why I do it for myself first. Okay, so that's why the step number 4 is about having this motivation, not only outside like extrinsic motivation, but intrinsic motivation for yourself as well. And the last step is step number 5. I briefly talked about it in my disclaimer. It's about how to adapt and be adaptable and be flexible. Some things may not go according to the plan. Whatever we wrote down in previous steps, whatever like how we broke down our goal into small clusters, whatever we wrote down, how we're going to be disciplined, organized. But welcome to life, and life is not always that straightforward. Life is not always about following the plans, and life has its own challenges, its own obstacles, different setbacks. So we need to learn how to adjust and a little bit sometimes deviate from our plan, maybe change the plan, maybe change the way we are doing the things. Maybe something is not going to work out. Right now you're going to write the plan that's what I'm going to do, and once you're going to do it within like the months of doing that, you will realize this is not working. This like strategy I picked, it's not working. So, and I have to change it now. And that's okay to change things. So I want you to remember that again, life happens, and that's totally fine. And it's not always in life about following every single plan and being like exact to the T that it has to be like this. Nope. Be sometimes flexible, be playful, add things, change the strategies, and you may meet, I don't know, right now you're thinking about one plan, one way of doing the things. Maybe months later, you're going to meet a person who is going to connect you to somebody, and now whatever you just planned is not necessary because you just met a person who is going to introduce you to somebody, and the way that you're doing things is going to change completely. So being adaptable and being flexible, it is also very important when it comes to achieving your goals. So if we go through all the steps one more time, the first, we identify the goals, and you can use the SMART model, for example, for this, or whatever works best for you. Second is we are breaking it down by clusters. We need to break things down. Then the third step is we create and come up with a plan. The fourth is about motivation, or in general, your intention. Why are you doing this? What is your intention for this? And the last is to be adaptable and to be flexible, as sometimes you will have to deviate from your plan, as things may not go always according to your plan. So let's start here working on our goals. Let me know in the comments below, what is your goal, maybe for this year, maybe for next year, maybe like for the next 3 months. Write it down. I want you to be as specific as possible. Maybe you want to lose, my example, want to lose the weight like 20 pounds within the 3 months, and what is the reasoning, what is your intention, your inner motivation, why you want to do that. I want to get 100 YouTube subscribers, 100,000 YouTube subscribers. So what is my inner motivation? When am I planning to do that? By the end of the year. So what is my plan, and how am I going to get to this point B, right? We want to write it down, and we want to specify it. So thank you everyone for watching, and I'm going to see you in my next videos. Have a good one.